Hello everybody and welcome back. Mr. Obviously Insane here with compilation video number 5 of my 30-day challenge, 30 games in 30 days. In this one we checked out Transport Fever, Rime, Duke Nukem, Path of Exile, and Civilization VI. So, word of advice, some of these images may be, not for everybody. Just gonna throw that out there, because Duke Nukem is not exactly the most family-friendly game. But, throwback to a classic, so we had to check it out. Without further ado, is there anything I'm forgetting? I don't think so. Let's go into the video. Oh yeah! Do spoilers make you randy? Day 21, seen me check out Transport Fever. Now this is another one of those management type games that really allows you to get down to the detail and control pretty much everything. Now, its emphasis is more on the transportation side and building your own vast transportation network, either through truck transportation, public transportation, or rail transportation. You can also do boats as well if the area on the map provides for it. So there's quite a few ways for you to get the different goods that are on the map to and from the different cities. And unlike a game like City Skylines, this one, like I said, focuses more on the transport side. The city kind of grows around what you do, so when you provide it with its necessities, it'll then further grow out and build its streets, and people will go live there and stuff like that. Now, what you're seeing here is the setup of just the simple farm to the food processor and then back to the city. I did struggle with it a little bit, and this is one of those games that it's a little old in the sense that they're coming out with Transport Fever 2 already, but this is one of those games that, if kind of like Motorsport Manager, if you're into this whole kind of thing, it's definitely a game for you. I don't like the games where they make the micromanaging just too overly complex, and this one, for me, it's not. I just have a hard time setting it up because, well, it can be a little tricky, but that is part and parcel with the challenge to this game that I do kind of find intriguing. Some people may find that frustrating, and that's perfectly fine, but when it comes to games like this, when it's complicated but simple, that's generally when I tend to kind of enjoy it. And Transport Fever is just one of those games that I really got into because of City Skylines, and with all the hype kind of looking forward to Transport Fever 2, I'm hoping that I can kind of figure out the mechanics of this game sort of well enough that when that game drops, we can maybe check that out as well. But as far as the 30-day challenge, I just kind of wanted to sort of get a little bit of context on what the game was like, in the sense of I think I've only really been doing the scenarios and trying for the gold medals, which we might probably do in another stream. I'm not sure if those will make it to YouTube or not. They probably will, but we'll have to see about that. We didn't get really far in the game, and you start in... Oh, I started in the 1850s. You can select different eras that you may want to start in, and that'll give you different technologies, so better forms of transportation and things like that. But you'll still relatively have to get everything sort of set up, and it's a giant network that will be your sort of transportation empire that will see you hopefully make millions and millions of dollars. But the point of this game isn't necessarily just to make that money, it's to be able to kind of spend it on all new infrastructure and re-upgrade bridges and do all different types of fun things. And this is even one of those games that the Steam mod community is pretty heavy behind, and there's a lot of cool things that you can do with that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you for day 22. Day 22, and I checked out Rime. One of those puzzle type games that doesn't really give you too much of a hint as to how to sort of get through the world, and I don't really know too much about the storyline of the game other than you wake up on this beach and you're being called to that tower that we've seen in the foreground. So other than that, you're sort of just left to your own devices to sort of figure things out. That fox sort of does play into it. I spent a lot of time kind of running around trying to figure it out. You basically have to go and find each one of these beacons of light and scream at it. And then it will unlock this fox that kind of sounded like a dog for some strange reason. And it will help you now through the world, and it sort of gives you, it kind of acts as like your map in sort of which direction you're supposed to go. But you're still left on your own to kind of figure out how the puzzles sort of work. And I sort of left this one in to show that I didn't really figure them all out instantly. Some of them took a little bit to figure out, but it was all relatively simple for the most part, and it was a very beautifully animated game. The art style and even the game music was very sort of relaxing, and yeah, it didn't really take too much to figure out some of these puzzles. You can die, and I did die a few times, but none of it in this video, because I did get pretty far, and I didn't want to spoil too much of the game in case anyone may have wanted to check it out for themselves. But it sort of, in a way, kind of reminded me of Limbo and Stories Untold, in the sense that we're trying to sort of tell a story, but we have to figure out what that story is as we kind of go along. So that's sort of what we're doing here. I'm kind of unlocking things and solving these little puzzles as I'm trying to get towards this tower. And some of them were a little bit more complicated than others, and some of them were pretty straightforward. But I had a lot of fun playing this game. It was definitely something that if I wasn't tired come the end of the stream, I probably might have kept going, but it was getting pretty late, and I sort of needed to wrap things up. But I'm not exactly sure how long it is, but I kind of felt like I was getting close to the end. I could be wrong, but this is definitely something that I think either on my own time or maybe in another stream, I'll probably check it out, because I definitely would like to see sort of where it goes. I mean, I made it thus far, so I'd kind of like to know sort of where it ends, but it was definitely something that I enjoyed. And if you have picked up the Epic Launcher, it's over on there, and it was one of the games that they were giving away free as part of their weekly thing. So I've had it for a little bit, hadn't really checked it out until now, and it was actually something that I quite thoroughly enjoyed. Mostly because I like puzzles and trying to, solve things, and it was just, yeah, this game, the art, the camera, everything sort of just blends to kind of all go together and give you this experience of a story that you basically figure out as you go. But we are going to head on to day 23 here, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the look at this game. I quite enjoyed playing it, and it might be something that we see again on the channel. So keep an eye out for that, and let me know in the comments what you thought of this one. Day 23, and I checked out Duke Nukem Forever. Now, this game, unfortunately, I didn't really get to check out a lot of the earlier versions of it. Mostly because I didn't have a computer back in those days, but it was one of those games that was pretty suggestive, both violence and sexual in nature, as you can see now. Hence the warning at the beginning of the video. It's not overly sexual or anything like that, but, I mean, come on. It's obvious. Or, they're definitely not subtle, but let's just put it that way. I feel like a lot of this, though, could have just been taken out of the game, in a sense that it didn't even really need to be there. Didn't feel like it helped the story, and all it really kind of delayed was me killing aliens and stuff. Until pretty much, I want to say now, but it's not, because we still have to go, and I think we have a little chat, yes we do, with this kid, who's conveniently in my chair, but there we go. we have to have a little chat with the president and our commanding officer to kind of give us a briefing of the situation, and we're supposed to not do anything and not kill anything and yada yada yada. What do they think we were gonna do? So we actually have to fight them, which is fun for the most part, except I think I died a few times because trying to get used to that, and the fight mechanics seemed a little weird. I am using my controller, so maybe it was that, but I also felt the times when I was shooting them, it seems like headshots weren't exactly working the best. I know I'm not the greatest of aim, but I do feel at times that it was more or less on its, you know, little mark there. So other than that, I mean, it's killing, smash them up, shoot them up. You basically don't use armor, and, you know, everything that would be bad for you is in this game somehow good for you. Plus, they somehow managed to work in some puzzles. Now, I don't remember the puzzles back in the day. Maybe there is. I could be mistaken, but I feel like it just sort of took away from the fact that this was supposed to just be like a shoot 'em up and kill the aliens and save the world type of thing all over again. Here's that little puzzle that I was talking about. It was kind of fun. I mean, you had to get this power cell, but I couldn't really figure out why it would be, like, the aliens put it there. It just didn't make any sense. And for a game that really should have been pretty simple, you know, straightforward, like I said, shoot, shoot, bang, bang, all that good stuff, seems like the story, they kind of tried to complicate things. When you see me doing the weird thing there, that's taking steroids so that you can boost up your ego and go fight these guys, because there's certain things that you can even do in the world, like punch the punching bags in the one room back there. Later on, you can sit at a casino and play some slots, and it all just helps raise your ego, which is, I'm assuming, your health. Oh yeah, these guys. This was fun. Hand-eye coordination wasn't so bad. Towards the end, I did die, which was a bit of a bummer, because I felt like I was doing so good, but a couple of those ones just got in really tight there, and I was sort of struggling with that. But we do get through it, and we did move on, but I didn't go too much further after this, so I will see you guys for day 24, because I just didn't want to spoil too much of this game. If you want to go check it out for yourself, do so. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Oh yeah, the brakes, and she screamed the whole way down. Clueless. Day 24, and I checked out Path of Exile. Now, this isn't a new game for me. And similar to, I believe it was the Adventures of Van Helsing, this is a game that I sort of stopped playing just because I kind of got tired of how they change it every sort of 3 months. A lot of the main storyline stays the same, and they just basically add in new mechanics and take out some mechanics. So when we were trying to figure out the game, it just sort of made things difficult, at least for me. I still enjoy playing this game, but it's definitely not something that I do all the time or on a regular basis. But the newest one, I believe, was called Legion, and a few of you told me that I should check it out because it was pretty decent. So I thought, what the heck, got the 30-day challenge going, let's jump in and take a look. I'd never really done an archer character before. I had done pretty much every other character, I think, except maybe the Scion. I'm not sure. Even I think maybe I'd check that one out, but I hadn't done an archer character, and I thought, why not? Let's do some range, let's do some shooty McShooterson and stuff, and see how that goes. Now, I more or less get through the first act, but in case you haven't actually played the game, I don't want to spoil any of that too much for you. So we more or less just get to, I think, the first little semi-boss, which is Brutus in the prison. But before then, we had to do a little bit of a side quest, which you do need to do for the progression of the storyline, which is not too hard. You just have to go get this medicine chest and shoot a bunch of people along the way. Now, I don't think you actually have to kill a lot of these. It is possible to avoid a lot of it, but I'm not skilled enough to do that, and as long as they all die, I'm generally happy. But I do believe that over-leveling in this game is a thing, and you generally, until you get to the end game, kind of want to stay sort of on the same sort of level as the monsters that you're facing, so that you get the most out of your experience. Otherwise, if you're a couple levels ahead, I think you get a penalty for that, and I don't think it's too bad, but it definitely doesn't. If you're a min-maxer, it's definitely not maximizing your potential that you could be doing for your character. But again, that's a lot of the stuff that through the skill tree you can sort of manage. That I have an idea. I mean, I have made it to the end of this game and beaten the Act 10 boss, but other than that, the endgame stuff is still almost a complete mystery to me. It's one of those things that when you get there, it's kind of fun to sort of explore, but if you haven't really built a character to go for that endgame stuff, and you don't have a lot of respect points, which are things that allow you to undo skill points and give yourselves new ones, then it can be a bit of a challenge. But I always quite enjoyed doing the little lab puzzles and runs, this is one of the time trials for later. I didn't do any of that in this run, and I'm not even sure I will continue with this character, but I definitely thought that I can't sit there and smack talk something if I haven't checked it out. And my only real knock against Path of Exile was that it changes so often, but I know a lot of people enjoy that, and I think it's part of why the community still is going strong the way that it is. But I don't know, for me, I'm just glad that they don't actually charge you for all the different updates and things that they make. Otherwise, that would be kind of crappy. But they do get you in a sense of, this is one of those games that involves microtransactions. So you're not actually paying to win, but you're paying for a lot of the different skin things and graphical designs that they offer in the store. You can also use real currency to buy tabs so that you don't have to constantly delete characters and things like that, because once a league is done, your character gets relegated back to a standard league, which is basically just a standard version of the game that has, up until I believe whatever current league you're on, mechanics. So the exclusion of the newest league, the standard league will have everything that it has had to this point, and I think that they still have in it, but not too many people, I think, actually play standard. It's usually league to league, and they make new characters based on that kind of stuff. So if that's something that you might be interested or check out, then feel free to do so. It is a game that is 100% free to play. So I will see you guys for day 25. Day 25 saw me check out Civilization VI. Now, one of my favorite things with the Civilization series is the little intro video that you get with each game, expansion, that just sort of tells the story of Civilization each time. And part of the thing for me is those. So if you don't like that, you can turn them off, but that's definitely something that even in 5, I continually watched it over and over again, because it was just, it draws you in before you play the game, and it just sort of holds you. And the whole one more turn aspect of Civilization, it's just part and parcel. Kind of like the barbarians that you see me trying to avoid here. Early on, you will run into quite a few of these guys. They can sort of mess up your day if you are not necessarily prepared. I overly wasn't. Now, I was making military units. As we can see, I had the warrior that we started with, and I was making a slinger, but instead of going with a scout, I probably should have went with at least another slinger and maybe even another warrior, because this encampment here to the west, and we eventually find one over to our east, including one that we'll eventually find after dealing with this one here to our south. So we are completely surrounded by barbarians on 3 of the 4 sides, and through later exploration that's not in this video, we do meet a civilization that is just northeast of our second encampment that we had discovered there. So, I mean, it held me up till we were about turn, what, 15, 13, 14, somewhere in there when we first encountered them, and I don't finish dealing with all of those 3 encampments, I believe, until somewhere's like turn 45, which, if you're playing on a higher difficulty, that could be a problem, considering the other civs start ahead of you and all of that stuff already. But as you can see here, we're being approached by the ones from the bottom, and for me, the barbarians in Civilization are probably one of the most annoying parts of the game. They are there to sort of keep the AI in check, because if they are messing with you, they are definitely messing with the AI as well. So just sort of keep that in mind when they're completely savaging your lands and you're wondering, oh god, why me? Well, you just happen to be the closest. That's all. And if they have things like horses or iron, they could have some units that are definitely better than you. So early, you want to make sure you have a small army to make sure that you can protect your very, for the time being, open borders. Because eventually, through policies, you'll be able to shore that up, and then people can't wander into your lands. Barbarians can still attack you, but as you get later on into the game and you build more cities, there's kind of no real spaces for them to sort of spawn. But early on, that's when you will kind of have that struggle. But we are doing okay. I think I actually lost only 1 unit, I believe, throughout the whole thing, so that might not have been too bad. But I hate losing units in this game for any reason. Just for the simple fact that it takes you anywhere between 6 to 10 turns, depending on the protection level of the city, to make that unit. So, in theory, every time one dies, you are losing a good chunk of your production and things like that. So, with this game, where you place your units and stuff like that really does matter, and it is kind of fun with the whole hexagonal shapes and stuff like that. So, if you've never actually checked out a Civ game, I might recommend doing so. But like I said, I don't have the complete expansion yet. I haven't picked up Gathering Storm, so in a sense it sort of feels like maybe I'm only using like half the game, but that's where the DLC adds to it, but doesn't necessarily take away from everything that's come to this point. But just like with Civ 5, I feel like the expansions make the game whole, and for me that's, I don't know, just release the game like you intended to, and then give us the DLCs. But from what I understand about Gathering Storm, a lot of mechanics were even added, so it's almost like another game on top of a game, which is kind of another reason why I'm sort of hesitant. I mean, I wasn't exactly thrilled with Civ 6. Now, it means that that doesn't mean that I don't like it, because I do, but I just, early on, I think there were a few little things that kind of bugged me that I think at this point they probably have fixed, and I may or may not get back into Civilization. But with the games that we've been doing with the 30-day challenge and some other things, it'll probably be a bit before I do it again. I might, however, continue this. It was just a play now, so I'm on a small continents map, and I believe it's just like regular time, or no, it might even be a quick game. So it might be something that I finish just on my own time, but for the sake of the video and things like that, I don't know if I'll actually continue it. I just wanted to have a fresh start so that you guys can sort of see the first 40-ish turns of the game and just sort of how you interact with the world and stuff like that. So, oh, and another thing, the move speed between 5 and 6 is a little different, and that's probably one of the only things that I would consider a drawback. But I hope you guys have enjoyed, and thank you for watching and joining me so far on my 30-day challenge. We're 25 days through. We got 5 more games for you guys, and at least 1 more highlight compilation video to do. So if you're new to the channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please go ahead and do so by hitting the subscribe button. Make sure you got that notification bell ticked so that you know every time that I drop a video. And if you liked this video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments below what your thoughts were. And I will see you guys in the next one. As always, until next time, take care.